there's a lot of me in all the art, right? Sometimes people say that for the figurative work as well. They're like, kind of looks like you. I'm like, well, they're all kind of fucking me, right? Like, it's not a self-portrait direct, but I made it. It's a nude woman. Like, we kind of look similar. It is what it is. I don't know if I'm in the game of making big statements, right? A lot of artists are. I think what I aim to do is just express honestly. Like, kind of looks like you. I'm like, well, they're all kind of fucking me, right? Like, it's not a self-portrait direct, but I made it. It's a nude woman. Like, we kind of look similar. It is what it is. I don't know if I'm in the game of making big statements, right? A lot of artists are. I think what I aim to do is just express honestly. And that's who I am. And I think that, maybe to like contradict myself now, that is in and of itself a statement. For a young female to be honestly expressing her reality in the face of what the world expects her to be. Where are we going? Oh yeah. Art, labia, these girls.
Yes,
so
tell us about these
There's a lot
women.
of open vag, right? There's a lot of open vag on these, which I have not sculpted yet in my sculptures, but I also think art making's super fun when you cross medium, because then when I go back, which I absolutely will once this is out of me, I'm pumped to sculpt labia. I'm pumped to sculpt some open crotch. And yeah, that kind of came about, in the being honest and real. It's like, that's a body part, right? Like, when people eroticize images of women, unless you're looking at Pornhub, right, you do not see labia. You see a lot of cleavage, you see a lot of boobs, which, like, I love, I'm not knocking, but you just don't see open vagina. You absolutely don't see it. So it's almost like it's the most, like...
It's like the last taboo.
It's the last labia, last taboo, and then a lot of women are, and also not all women have vaginas, so I'm going to say that, but for people who have vaginas, I think almost more so women that exclusively sleep with men that have vaginas, but I mean everyone. There's also a lot of taboos around labia, like how much there is and what that looks like, and that's something I feel like people don't talk about.
You mean people are being labia shamed?
I know that there are ways people feel about labia. Men, women, everything in between have opinions on labia that aren't fairly talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the same way they have opinion on boobs, like too saggy, nipples too big, too this, too that, you know what I mean? Like,
why can't people just admire the physical form as it is, as being the most
telling me,
wonderful
right?
gift that whoever you believe in has created?
So I wanted to have open vag in these with the juxtaposition of having the women in positions and with expressions that were so not sexual inherently, right? Like,
Now, wait a
just
second.
hanging out.
Wait a second. I'm going to have to, stop you on that, because I'm looking at... Okay, we'll just take this one here. A woman in the grass. What looks like she is in a... That's a yoga pose. I want to call that, something baby.
She's like... It's that's exactly what it is. It's the... Oh my
But
God.
at the same time...
It's someone kind of just going like
It's
this.
a child's pose. Child's pose.
No.
But at the same time, looking at this, I can only think of a sexual position where the knees are on the shoulder. And again, we go back to this one here, looking at the whole...
You're looking at the whole
thing. I'm looking at her eyes, I'm looking at her expression.
So to me, she's just chilling. Like she's sort of in this like, which leg is up? It's this one. she's just sort of like this, you know? Like it's hang, like it's a kind of a weird way of sitting like this, you know? Like it's hang, like it's a kind of a weird way of sitting.
She just smoked a nice bowl of something and she is like in bliss right now. She decided to take off all her clothes and just like wait for you to paint her.
Yeah. I mean, they're to me, they're sort of also a little, I don't know, like naturalist, right? People naked in the grass. People naked in grass. That's how we started on this earth, right? No clothes, grass, field, trees, what have you.
Eating dirt.
Eating dirt, eating
Ma saying, you can't eat that! You can't eat that!
So they're,
There is a definite
I don't know, they're very, like, to me, they're very just, like, natural. But...
This is the second time you brought up, well, you didn't bring it up yet, but I noticed earlier you had mentioned the backgrounds being in grass, or in this case, I guess would be nature.
Yeah.
Does that represent like freedom to you? Does that represent some kind of a lost innocence of some kind?
Oh, I like that. No, I mean...
Did anything happen to you in the grass when you were young, Eleanor?
My Lord. I love...
Did you get lost in a high field in grass? Looking for mommy and daddy and they couldn't find you?
The first time I took mushrooms was in the grass, and I swear I was a very young girl.
Did you
not
see?
too young. You
know,
know,
did you see
no,
God?
honestly, too young. But I saw it into the grass. Like I saw it in the grass. Anyways, I'm not condoning hallucinogens. But anyways, past life. There's a time and a place for. There's a certain kind of person that likes being affected in the brain, and that is not me these days. And I'll put that like that. Yeah, where were we going? We're on the grass, right? You
got lost in the grass.
I lost in the grass.
You got so high in the grass.
The grass for me is, yeah, it's sort of evoking freedom. It's not crazy symbolism. As I said before, I don't like to think high fucking concept. To me, I am a female depicting the nude females. I'm part of a very rich and long tradition of figurative sculpting and painting, just figurative art.
Female
Figurative art, and that is what it is. I think that for me, the meaning and the emotion comes out through the materials used, the mark making I do, the way they're positioned, and a lot of that the viewer, will put themselves on, right? Like I've heard you have like 18 different fucking thoughts about these that I haven't had, and like I say that's awesome, right? Like I think everyone comes I think I love figurative work because it's sort of in for what I consider like a sweet spot for the viewer in terms of I'm not slapping you over the head with it, right? It's not, or I should say the figurative work I like to do, like kind of more simple figurative work, or figurative work that kind of veers on abstraction, right? Like not photorealism of like this person in this setting where you're like, okay, I know exactly what's going on here, and maybe I'm thinking, oh, but what kind of room is she in? Like what's outside? It's like, sure, you can go off with that, but like there's a lot of information there. Whereas I think of sort of like very expressive, teetering on abstract, not really abstract, but like really expressive, not highly realistic figurative work. It's giving you enough information. You know it's a person. You don't really know where they are. There's a lot of gray zones, but we're not into like color field abstraction where it's like, what is it? Like, where are we? And I'm not knocking that work. There's a time and a place for it. It's just not my vibe. Although I have some in my home and I really like it. And I used to make abstract work, so that's cool. But I like the openness of sort of vague, expressive, figurative work. I think humans see another human and they just, boom, take a narrative and start running. Like, it's where they're at that day, who they've met in their life, what that figure reminds them of, what the colors remind them of. Like people see a person and they go off with their own personal narrative if you give them enough breathing room to do so, if you give them enough vagueness to do so, but you give them enough information to know kind of where to start with. So, yeah, and on that, I like the grass because it's sort of like, yeah, free in nature, right? Like, not indoors. It's like nude in the outdoors. And then I'm just super into the color. It contrasts, I think, really well with a lot of like the reds and kind of peach tones that I use. So I'm just into that visually as well.
So are we to expect this series to go, pardon the pun, full term? Will this be coinciding also with your pregnancy?
I am excited to paint myself with the bump.
With the bump.
Yeah.
So then you think we'll be seeing perhaps images of more women in poses like this, but also
but a little bigger.
But a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger.
Showing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm just starting to now, but it's not. It's not here yet. I'm excited to paint right here.
Very curious, because the reason why I asked that question is because right now I see just a handful of your work here. Mm-hmm. And how long has this particular series been going on? Did it start at the beginning of your pregnancy?
No, I've been doing the ones this size for just a few weeks. I have 3 more of them that aren't up on this wall, and I'm about to try and bang out these 2. I told myself I'd do 8 of this size in this palette.
Not like 9?
Why would I? Oh, God.
Being that there are 9 months in a gestation period?
Oh, well, I was thinking of even maybe stopping at 7. All right, fuck it. Maybe we'll go to 9. We'll see. And then after that, maybe I'll do more, but I was thinking of switching over to painting, or like some combination of the painting and the drawing, but moving onto canvas just so I can use. I want to use paint. I want to use something a little thicker, and there's only so much that paper can hold without it becoming kind of like a very fragile object.
Eleanor, I wanted to thank you so much, and before I leave, I've got just a few more questions. They're going to be rapid fire succession.
Okay.
One-word answers would be good. Have you ever been inspired by a muse?
No.
Okay.
Myself.
Okay.
Sorry about it. Not a specific one. I'll say that too. I've been inspired by many, many beautiful women, but no, I've never had like a long-standing muse that I've kept making work of other than myself.
What are you going to call your child when it's born?
There's a few names.
Names?
There's a few names of mine. We're not doing. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know yet. I'll let you know when I know.
All right. Your favorite color?
Ultramarine blue.
Ultramarine blue.
Which isn't a lot in these, but it's in like the little bits.
That's it.
That right there.
Mm-hmm. Your favorite junk food?
Oh my god, it actually might be exactly these.
What are those?
These are amazing. These are Rips. They're like sour licorice. They're the best of all the sour gummy things. And they're oddly elusive. You cannot just find them everywhere, like the little sour gummy worms. But when you find somewhere that carries them, they usually carry them consistently. So these, if I'm feeling like candy, but if I'm not feeling candy, favorite junk food is probably like just like plain potato chips, like super salty, super crunchy, like kettle chips, Lay's even. I don't know.
Do you have an innie or an outie?
I have an innie.
You have an innie.
Yeah, you can see, and you can see my pregnant belly too.
Oh wow!
I know, right?
There you go, people.
There you go, everyone. And you know, it doesn't look too pregnant.
What are you, like 3 months? You said?
Yeah, I'm usually very skinny, and
yes, take my word for it.
I'm a
She's
star.
a waif.
I'm a waif. And this is my baby.
It's gonna be beautiful things.
Thank you.
I can't wait to come back.
I know, right? I'll be like, ooh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Giovanni. Always a pleasure.